But the human being resembles a bird that's in a cage. The bird is longing for the heavens. It's looking towards the sky. It wants to spread its wings and fly. But there's a cage surrounding this bird. That cage is the cage of the nafs. Now there is a question here. How can it be possible for Islam to advocate freedom when Islam is built upon the idea of slavery? Isn't it the case that Islam wants us to be a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Doesn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the noble Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I didn't create jinn and mankind except to be in a state of slavery and servitude to me. Is it then possible for a religion that's calling mankind to slavery to advocate freedom? How does this work? You see, when we go to the Quran, but we don't have a close connection with the Quran, we often end up getting more confused. But when you have a connection with the Quran is light. It uncovers its secrets for you. We have to become closer with the Quran, ponder more upon its beautiful verses. You see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I did not create the jinn and the mankind except to be in a state of servitude and slavery to me. But what is the next verse? The next verse says, I don't want them to provide for me, neither do I want them to feed me. Surely it is Allah who is the provider. He is the one who owns absolute power. In other words, let's put it this way, dear brothers and sisters. There are two sides of this equation. There is you and there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? There is you and there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is saying, come into my servitude. Come and become my slave. But know one thing. You know when human beings used to enslave other human beings? Why would they do that? It was because of their inability to do certain tasks for themselves, right? A person would have slaves because it made their life easier. Because they had certain things they needed to be done, they were incapable, they were too weak, they lacked the energy to do all those things themselves, so they had slaves do it on their behalf. They had slaves fulfill their needs. Now Allah is the one who has no needs. So Allah is telling us, come into my slavery, but know one thing, this slavery is not to my benefit. I don't need your slavery, I don't need your servitude, I don't need you to serve me or to feed me, I'm needless of you. You being a servant to me or not being a servant to me, you denying my existence or accepting my existence, makes no difference to me whatsoever. At the same time, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolute in His wisdom. If He has told us to do something, it is not without reason. Now Allah has negated that reason from Himself. There is you, there is Allah. Allah does not benefit from this slavery. Who else is left in this equation? Why then has He told us to be His slave? Who's going to benefit? We are going to benefit. This slavery is going to affect us. Now what is the effect of that slavery? What is the effect of the slavery and servitude that Islam is calling us to? In another verse of the Quran, because you see the verses of the Quran, they explain one another. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the following. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الناس, O mankind, اعبدوا ربكم. Be in a state of servitude, slavery and worship to your Lord. الذي خلقكم, the one who created you. وَالَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, the one who created those before you. Why? Why do you want me to worship you? Why should I be in a state of slavery to you? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may achieve taqwa. The aim of worship is taqwa. The reason we exist is Ubudiyyah, to be in a state of slavery to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason for that slavery is taqwa. Now, as a side point, isn't it strange that this slavery is optional? You know, when people would go and enslave others, when the Europeans went and began enslaving Africans, do you think they asked the Africans first, would you like to be our slaves or not? Of course not. They went and enslaved using force. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't enslave in that way. He's giving us a choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, Inna hadaynahu as-sabil, imma shakiran wa imma kafura. We have shown man the right way. Now man has to choose. Does he want to be grateful or ungrateful? That's down to him. What kind of slavery is this? It's different from every other kind of slavery because it's optional. Allah is saying, be my slave, but it's your choice, you don't have to. Why would anyone decide willingly to give up their freedom and enter into a state of slavery? Why would anyone do that? With this explanation, it becomes clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, enter the state of slavery out of your choice. When you enter the state of slavery, what's going to happen? You're going to gain taqwa. What is taqwa? Does taqwa mean to fear Allah? No. Being God-fearing is not the translation of being a muttaqi, having taqwa. Fear is khawf. Taqwa is not khawf, it's something different. What is taqwa? It's related, Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam defines taqwa in the following manner. فَإِنَّ تَقْوَى اللَّهِ مِفْتَاحُ السَّدَادِ وَذَخِيرَةُ مَعَادِ. Surely the taqwa of Allah, what is it? The following things. It is the key to righteousness. It is a treasure for the day of judgment, meaning that day when you need good deeds, you need help, you need to send forward something for that day. Taqwa is that thing that will help you. But this is the part I want to speak about, the next part. فَإِنَّ تَقْوَى اللَّهِ مِفْتَاحُ السَّدَادِ وَذَخِيرَةُ مَعَادِ وَعِتْقٌ مِّن كُلِّ مَلَكَةٍ. Taqwa of Allah is freedom from every kind of ownership. Taqwa of Allah is freedom from every kind of ownership. وَنَجَاةٌ مِّن كُلِّ هَلَكَةٍ. And it is salvation and safety from every destruction. Taqwa equals freedom. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, I created you only to be in a state of slavery to me. This slavery is optional, but if you choose this path of slavery to myself, I don't benefit from that slavery, you benefit. What is that benefit? That benefit is taqwa. What is taqwa? It is absolute freedom. The whole reason behind why Islam calls a human being to be in a state of slavery to Allah is because it is the only way the human being can be freed from his lower self and become the master of his lower self. The human being is an incredible being, but the human being resembles a bird that's in a cage. The bird is longing for the heavens. It's looking towards the sky. It wants to spread its wings and fly. But there's a cage surrounding this bird. That cage is the cage of the lower self. Yes, that cage is the cage of the lower self. I need someone to come and open this cage for me. And I've been imprisoned in it so long, I've almost forgotten my ability to fly. I need someone to come and remind me, you're a bird, you can fly, let me help you. Who is that person? Let's come to the Quran and find out. During one of the conversations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had with Prophet Musa alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the followers of Rasulullah Muhammad. As part of that description, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa himself. One of those descriptions which we should really think more about and speak more about is the following. Who is this Prophet? What does he do? He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَضَعُ عَنْهُمْ إِسْرَهُمْ وَالْأَغْلَالَ الَّتِي كَانَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ. He removes the shackles that were imprisoning them. This is a verse of Quran. That one who comes and opens this cage and says to this bird, come, let me take you in my hands. Let me remind you, you're a bird, you can fly. Let me show you the path to the heavens once more. That one is none other than Rasulullah Muhammad. He has come to free mankind. This path, his path, this Sharia, this Islam is a path to freedom. If only we practice it in its complete sense. This is the job of the Anbiya, the Prophets, the Awsiya, the A'imma. They've come to free us. So whoever wants freedom, Bismillah, the path is open. But the human being resembles a bird that's in a cage. The bird is longing for the heavens. It's looking towards the sky. It wants to spread its wings and fly. But there's a cage surrounding this mind. That cage is